Hello and welcome to the lecture series on principles of microeconomics. In my previous class, I've dealt with two important concepts known as total utility and marginal utility, and also we have seen the relationship between the two, that is both the graphical relationship as well as the tabular relationship between total utility and marginal utility. In today's class, I'll be talking about one of the very important laws known as the law of diminishing marginal utility. So let's get started. First of all, the statement of the law. The law of diminishing marginal utility states that the marginal utility generated by additional units of any commodity or any product diminishes as the consumer consumes more of that product, holding constant the consumption of all other products by that particular individual. Now, what is happening is the marginal utility is going on diminishing as the consumer is consuming more and more units of that particular commodity, holding constant his consumption of all the other commodities. That is what the law is saying. This means that the additional utility which is going to be generated on account of consumption of additional unit of a particular commodity is going to be less as compared to what he or she has derived, the additional utility he or she has derived after consumption of the first unit. The second unit is going to have lower marginal utility as compared to the first, then the third unit is going to have lower as compared to the second, and consequently the nth unit will probably have it in the negative terms as well. So let us look at what the law of diminishing marginal utility particularly is based on, or what are the certain assumptions of law of diminishing marginal utility. Now, one important note we have to take into account is that it is the marginal utility which is diminishing, not the total utility. Okay, and the second point is this law of diminishing marginal utility is an important tenet on which the cardinal utility analysis or Marshallian cardinal utility analysis is dependent upon. Therefore, this law is of immense importance to us. Let us now move to the assumptions on which the law is based. So, let us look at the first assumption. It is saying that standard measures or standard units of measurement. This is the first point. Now, what is happening is that here I am going to look at whether or not the units are very large or very small, because if they are very large and if they are very small, then the law does not hold true. We have to have something called as standard units of consumption. That means if at all I am consuming coffee, the size of the cup matters. That means if at all it is a 50 ml cup, throughout my consumption it has to be 50 ml worth of the coffee, otherwise the law will not hold true. That means in the first consumption or first unit of consumption I am taking 50 ml, in the second I am taking 100, in the third I am taking something else. That doesn't hold true, because there has to be a standard unit of measurement, or standard measurement has to be there. Then and then only the law of diminishing marginal utility will hold true. The second assumption is homogeneous commodity. That means all the units of the commodity consumed must be homogeneous or same. That means if at all the first cup of coffee is 50 ml, the second cup of coffee has to be 50 ml and it has to be coffee, it cannot be tea. So you have to make sure that the commodity is homogeneous. That means first unit is coffee, second unit has to be coffee, it cannot be tea, third unit cannot be something else. So you have to make sure that the commodity which is being consumed is homogeneous. Okay, that is the second assumption on which the law of diminishing marginal utility rests. The third is continuous units of consumption. That means there should not be any time lag between successive consumptions. That means one unit of cup of coffee I am taking in the morning, second in the afternoon, third in the evening. That is not true with respect to law of diminishing marginal utility. You have to successively consume units of a commodity, so that in such a fashion it will be easier for the law of diminishing marginal utility to hold true. If that is not happening continuously, that means there is a time lag between successive consumptions, then there are chances that the law of diminishing marginal utility will not hold true. The last assumption is that the mental and social condition of the consumer has to be normal. This means that his taste, his preferences, his income has to be same, and also he or she has to be mentally and socially stable. Then and then only the law of diminishing marginal utility will hold true. Now since we know what is the law of diminishing marginal utility, why it is important for cardinal utility analysis, and it is not the total utility but marginal utility which diminishes, and also the assumptions on which it is based, let us now look at the schedule for law of diminishing marginal utility. Now you can see that there are three columns, column 1, 2, 3. In the first column, I am looking at the units of a commodity which is to be consumed. Here in our case, it is units of commodity is cups of coffee per se. Then in the second column, I am looking at the total utility which I am going to generate out of consumption of the units of coffee, and the last column is talking about the marginal utility. Now when I consume the first cup of coffee, the total utility generated is 20 utils or 20 units, whatever you call it. The second cup of coffee is going to give me total utility of 30 units. The third cup is giving me 40, fourth is giving me 42, fifth is giving me 42, sixth is giving me 39. We have seen the relationship between how total utility and marginal utility behaves, but in a sense, if at all you are looking at total utility goes on increasing up until a certain point, and thereafter it starts to diminish. That is the total utility values for successive units of consumption of cup of coffee. On the contrary, let us look at marginal utility. Now we know the formula for calculating marginal utility. It is nothing but the change in total utility divided by change in the quantity of commodity consumed. So here the change is happening by 1 unit. So this delta Q is going to remain 1. So let us look at what is happening. The first remains the same because there is no previous consumption, that is why. Let us look at what is 32 minus 20 divided by 1, because this is 1 unit change is happening. Okay, so 32 minus 20 is giving me 12. The next is 40 minus 32 is giving me 8. 42 minus 40 is giving me 2. 42 minus 42 giving me 0. 39 minus 42, this is giving me minus 3. So now you can see that the marginal utility values are, it is highest at the first unit and later on it is diminishing as a consumer consumes more and more units of a commodity, and it also enters, it is also sometimes 0 and it also enters negative coordinates. That means law of diminishing marginal utility in this fashion is true. That means the marginal utility generated by additional units of any product diminishes as the individual consumer consumes more of it, holding constant the consumption of all other products. Here he or she is not consuming anything else, only cups of coffee, and we see as he or she increases the units of cups of coffee, the marginal utility starts to diminish and it also reaches 0 and thereafter negative. So this is what the law of diminishing marginal utility particularly boils down to. So I hope the concept of law of diminishing marginal utility is pretty much clear. Now what I am going to do is I am going to take all these values of marginal utility and plot them on a graph and see how the curve of marginal utility particularly looks like, or law of diminishing marginal utility looks like. So here the units of coffee are taken on the x-axis. So you can see this is the x-axis on which I am looking at the units of coffee. On the y-axis, I am looking at the marginal utility. Now, at the first unit of coffee, the marginal utility is 20 utils. So, here at first unit of coffee, it is 20. At the second, it is coming to 12. At third, it is coming to 8. Fourth, it is coming to 2. Fifth is 0. And sixth, it is becoming negative 3. So, negative 3 is given here. I join all these points and I get a downward sloping curve, and this is what the marginal utility curve looks like. It also reaches a point wherein it is 0 and then negative. So here this is the curve for law of diminishing marginal utility, which states that the marginal utility on account of consumption of additional units of any product diminishes as the consumer consumes more of that unit, ceteris paribus. So I hope the law of diminishing marginal utility, which is very important for the cardinal utility analysis, is pretty much clear. Also the assumptions on which it is based. This is the tabular representation or schedule, and this is the graph for marginal utility curve or law of diminishing marginal utility. Okay, so I hope the concept is pretty much clear. In the next class, I'll talk about law of equi-marginal utility. So please stay tuned for the same. Thank you.